Well, here we are. Good evening. Well, good evening for me. Hello if it's lunchtime. Hello if it's morning. Hello if it's the middle of the night. You know who I am. I'm Penny Dix, astrologer and life coach, and I'm here to talk about the energies and how we navigate the astrological energies of October 2023. Because we've had a kind of a roller coaster time throughout the year. It's been just extraordinary. So I know a lot of you are tuning in on chat. Thank you so much. A lot of you are now tuning in to actually watch, which is fabulous. So I'm going to get on and give you the information that you've actually come here to listen to. And before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about individual zodiac signs, because you may have noticed that no individual zodiac signs have gone up on my channel this month or in the last few days. That's because basically I'm cutting back a bit currently on content. Some of you will know about this and understand, because I have some health issues with my back. I have to address them. I have doctor's appointments, etc., etc. So I'm needing to give a little bit more space to me and what I'm doing, but I'm not going anywhere and I will still be here. So I'm going to be doing just slightly less than what I've been doing. However, the good news is that today, after I've done the short overview for the month of October, I'm going to give you just 3 brief points for each individual zodiac sign, so you don't lose out completely. Thank you. Yes, somebody is saying must take care of your health. And you know, this goes for everyone. Anyone who's listening who is struggling or has been struggling with health issues, remember that you are the captain of your ship. And if the captain is sick, the ship can't sail safely. So do remember to take good care of yourselves. So someone's saying the astrology part is what made me a fan. Thank you so much. And that is what you're going to get. You are going to get astrology from me tonight. Let's have a look at what's happening in October. First of all, do let me know in the chat how you have all been feeling and how life has been unfolding for you. Because if you think about it, most of this year has been a little bit like a psychological, physical, and emotional roller coaster from the energy that we have been presented with by the cosmos. So what can we do about this? And how do we navigate the astrological energies of October to make sure we make the best of it and go with the flow that the divine and the cosmos is trying to take us? Now, interestingly, what I decided to do today is something a little bit different. So the chart that I'm working from for October, I actually drew up for this point in time now, because I thought it would be really interesting and it will be very pertinent to you who have tuned into this, but also to anyone that tunes into this video when it goes, up to be seen after I've done the live. Because I think what comes to you or what you hear through what I say today from the transit chart that I have in front of me, that is for 17:59 local time, and I've actually done it for my location. But you know what? If you're here, if you're listening to this, then what I'm going to talk about is what you need to hear about. So I'm seeing a lot of you have been having quite difficult times, and let's see if we can unpack it. So let's look at this transit chart. And unfortunately, I don't have the technical skills yet to pop it up on the screen, but this is one of the things I will work on whilst I cut back a bit on my content. So the chart I've drawn up has, interestingly, mutable energies on the four quadrants. So the rising sign or the ascendant is Pisces. And so that means that we have Virgo on the descendant. And it means it puts Sagittarius on our midheaven and Gemini on our IC at the bottom. Now I am going to talk about the eclipses. Someone's just mentioning the eclipses. Do not worry, I'm going to talk about them. But this energy for the now is telling us that if we can be flexible and allow our plans to change at short notice, we can manage what unfolds through the astrological energies as they unfold this month. And yes, Steve, I think there will be big changes around the eclipse on the 14th, and I will come to that in a minute. But looking at this chart of this point in time, what we need to look for, and if ever you do horary astrology, or you're reading for someone else because you've been learning how to read your own chart, and you're now actually being able to read friends' charts, or even set up your own little practice, then always look for where the moon is when you meet the other. So I'm looking at where the moon is for all of us now. It's in Taurus. It's in the second house. So the second house, of course, is a Taurus house. And the second house is about value, self-worth. It's about the economy. And it's also about how we make our money, what we need to do to generate and manifest that income. Now, the moon is applying, which means it's coming up to get close to retrograde Jupiter in Taurus, my wonderful big boy Jupiter, the biggest of all our outer planets. This planet is so full of opportunity and optimism. It's in the second house of this chart. This bodes well for whatever you do in how you make your income, or if you're looking for new work, then this is a good kind of omen for finding that perfect job, finding that you get more income coming in. So it's helpful. And I think because Jupiter, of course, is applying, as we say, which means it's getting closer and closer to our other big boy Uranus, our planet of shocks, the unexpected, that is also retrograde in Uranus, then it's kind of like saying, pay attention, because things can happen this month with the economy. Now, that goes for the world economy as well, countries' economic systems, anything of that genre. Things can happen in the most unexpected ways, and there can be shocks and twists and turns, potentially economic volcanic activity, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily all bad. So just put that on the table of what we're generally going to be dealing with over the next kind of 4 weeks. Shirley, welcome. You're new here, but sending healing vibes to all. We need that, Shirley. Bless you. Thank you. Much appreciated and received. And you know, that fits in with this Taurus second house, which is talking about what can we receive that is valuable for us? Do we actually prevent abundance coming to us? Remember, Jupiter is about abundance, luck, and opportunity. Do we prevent these good things coming to us? Do we get into negative mindsets and imagine the worst round every corner? Remember, that does not serve us well. It does not help us. We have to now look to the 7th house, where Virgo is on the descendant. Virgo is the sign of service to others. Virgo is suggesting you actually serve yourself first. And there's a lot going on in our 7th house of significant relationships this month. But it's quite good. It's quite encouraging because Libra is part of this 7th house. I use the tropical Placidus system. So it actually means that in this particular chart, Libra is what's known as an intercepted house, which just means it's kind of squeezed in a bit. However, the energies of Libra are abundant because there's a lot of energy in the sign of Libra currently, including the sun. So we have the sun in Libra. We have Mars, our planet of action and energy, sexuality, if that's what you're looking for, in the 7th house with a significant other or a new love. So we have the harmony and balance that can be offered to us through this 7th house with relationships. So, hi Libra rising Andy. Yes, absolutely. And of course, we have the South Node in Libra. And we have Mercury still in Virgo, and this is the sign it rules. And Mercury actually leaves Virgo on the 5th and moves into Libra. It goes through Libra in about 2 weeks and then enters Scorpio. So we have a lot of kind of fast moving energy in our 7th house of the event chart for October. So what this means is you can see fast moving changes in your relationships, whether that's in a significant current relationship. Remember, this can also be business partnerships. It can be soulmate relationships. That can be with someone of the same sex as you. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, traditional heterosexual opposite love. So, and I know that I have to use the Virgo energy to be flexible in what I'm talking about so as to be politically correct with well, basically with the way things are going with how we look at sexuality in general. And I'm not going to go any more down that rabbit hole or I'll get myself totally in a little bit of a pickle. So coming back to the 7th house, let's have a look at this new moon solar eclipse. It's called an annular solar eclipse. It's on the 14th. It's at 21 degrees of Libra. It's in opposition to Chiron. So I'm just bringing up the chart for it. And it's also the new moon is conjunct Mercury, our planet of communication. So you've got the new moon in Libra opposite Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron can also represent those inner wounds we have that we keep hidden and that we find open up every now and then by events, by careless words that people say. And suddenly it's all come back to us. And so that with this Libra new moon, I think there could be an element of sensitivity around us, so that we need to be careful that we do not get oversensitive. Kim is saying your Saturn is at 21 degrees Libra. Remember Saturn is a slow moving planet. It's a generational planet. So yes, it might slow you down a bit with anything to do with relationships, depending what your rising sign is. But, what we have to pay more attention to with eclipses and to new and full moons is the personal planets. Pay attention to your moon, your sun, your rising sign, your midheaven, your ascendant, your descendant, and your IC, which is that line at the bottom that takes you into the fourth house of home and family. These are the points of the chart that you need to focus on. Eclipses, in one sense, are quite transient. And sometimes they come and go, and we don't even realize that they've kind of been there. Now, this particular new moon total solar eclipse is also known as a ring of fire. And that's because the moon is actually now in its process of moving further away from the sun. And so the earth. And so it will appear quite smaller as it covers the face of the sun. And so the people that are lucky enough to be able to view this will see this ring of fire around the eclipsed moon or the eclipsed sun. Now I'm just checking the path. I've gone to the wrong one. I'm just checking the path of the eclipse. Now it's going to be visible in West Africa and North America, but it's only going to be total in the southern parts of North America. It's also going to be visible in the northern parts of South America, the Pacific, the Atlantic, if you happen to be out in a boat in any of those areas, and also in the Arctic. So that's its kind of process. When I do my new moon annular solar eclipse video, I will have the chart up there where Jerry puts them. And as I say, I will work out how to do these on the lives as well. So we have that happening on the 14th of October. It's at 21 degrees. This potentially has the chance to bring in healing because of its opposition to Chiron. And the healing can come through constructive and positive talking, communication, because of the new moon's close proximity to Mercury. So let's see how else this energy can play out, because there's some other energy leading up to this new moon total solar eclipse, which is, we have to remember that Mercury is in Virgo and it trines Pluto, Pluto, our planet of transformation, retrograde in Capricorn on October the 3rd. And then it swiftly moves into Libra on the 5th. Now, Mercury trining Pluto at the beginning of the month, so that's on Tuesday this week, is kind of saying really good time to talk about the details in a constructive and transformative manner. Okay? Now, Venus, our planet of love and relationship and of self-worth, moves into Virgo on the 9th. Then we have Mars in Libra. Now, this is a biggie because Mars only stays in Libra for a few more days, because by the 12th of October, it moves into Scorpio. But it squares Pluto retrograde in Capricorn around 5, 6, 7 days. So this energy of Mars squaring Pluto is going to be potentially quite challenging. Let's use that word, because Mars is about action, energy, but its kind of dark side is aggression and, kind of fighting and arguments. It can be assertive. Pluto, remember, in Capricorn, is about structure. It's about the old ways of doing things. It's about government and kind of institutions needing to reform and change their methods of doing things. That's part of what Pluto's work is as it goes through these last degrees of Capricorn. So we've got this square, hard energy, challenging, from Mars in Libra, then Mars in Scorpio, to Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto also, just to add to this little recipe and kind of discussion that these planets are having, goes direct. It stations direct October 10th, 11th in Capricorn. This is good news. This is super good news. So that whatever on the short term, whatever Mars kicks off with that square to Pluto, whilst it's still in Libra, which could be about, I just sense it's something to do really with governments and anyone that is kind of in charge of important institutions. It's like it's a final push of the planet saying the old way does not work anymore. We have to learn to let the past kind of dissolve, neutralize, go back into the primordial soup of the creative part of the cosmos, so that the new can be born out of that. The new can be born, and a new form of the way governments work throughout the world. That's what all this Pluto-Mars square energy is doing. Throw Uranus into the equation, pottering around in Taurus up there, retrograde. And, as I think in the moment, we had just a few days ago about 3 bomb explosions in Pakistan. Pakistan are going through the most extraordinary kind of internal turmoil. And this Mars square Pluto is almost like, and excuse my graphic kind of pictorial imagery, but it's the zit on the bum of the universe. And it's that poison being eked out. It's like enough is what Pluto is saying. Enough. Now, Mars then moves into Scorpio, the sign, of course, that Pluto rules. So we have a kind of crescendo and climax of this Libra, or rather this Mars in Scorpio square to Pluto in Capricorn, now going direct, stationing direct, which means it's kind of gone, whoa, that's enough. I've done what I need to do here. I've sown the seeds of cosmic change. It's up to us to work with that energy and create the new. And once, and this is so super exciting, once Pluto fully goes into Aquarius at the end of next year, oh, wow, I really do feel very positive about the future for humanity. So let's see what else is going on, because as I said, Pluto goes direct. So this is a big deal. And be aware of it. It's around the 10th of October. Be aware of where Pluto is in your own chart. Be aware of how it affects you. Do you notice some kind of internal shift? So just be aware of that. If we go back to our chart of the here and now, Pluto is actually in the 10th house of institutions, of governments, of our career, how we want to be, how we want to sort of see our career unfold. So collectively, so if you bring this back down to a personal level, okay, if you bring that down to a personal level, this Pluto going direct is giving you a wonderful opportunity. If work's been tricky, if you still work, if whatever it is that you do to pass your time has been challenging and difficult, this is giving you an opportunity to kind of change the energy and just see a way to break through all of this. Let's move on to another transit that's happening, which is Mercury, our planet of communication, who has moved swiftly through Virgo, moves into Libra. And of course, Libra is all about balance, as I said, and harmony and relationship. And now we've got Mercury squaring Pluto in Capricorn direct 21st of October. By the 22nd, because remember, Pluto's moving direct, Mercury enters Scorpio. What do we make of this? Mercury is like the diplomat coming in some kind of challenging government situation that we may see unfold on the world stage. And the countries I'm thinking of, again, are, well, I mean, clearly we have to look at what Russia and Ukraine are up to, and the United States, because in a year's time, we will be coming up to election time in the US. And there are a lot of divisions that I observe in American politics that need to find a way to connect, meet, and find a collective way forward so as to bring collective healing to the country. And then the rest of the world can follow on from that, because at the moment, the example that the States sets for the rest of the world is not being very helpful because of the internal kind of fighting. Not that that doesn't always exist, and I know it does. So, I'm fully aware that that happens. And of course, I'm missing my partner in crime tonight, Brandon Russ, who is so well read up on American history and politics. But we are planning in the near future to do some more whiskey and bagels. Do let me know in the comments if you're missing it and if you'd like us to resume. We just had a summer which kind of separated us, and the energies just kind of went whoosh. And so we've all been off doing our own thing, but it doesn't mean that we're not attempting to get back on track. Now, next thing that I want to talk about is that we have a full moon in Taurus, which is a partial lunar eclipse. So Andy's saying, hell yes to whiskey and bagels. Cannot wait for the reunion of Penny and Brandon. Yes, well, we're working on it. I'm waiting for him to reply to my last message. So give him a nudge, everyone, because we need to get this sorted out. So we have this full moon in Taurus. So shift your energy in your mind to what's going on in Taurus, because this is a partial lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Taurus. Now we have the beginnings now of a trine from Uranus, our planet of shocks and the unexpected, to Pluto. Now, this Uranus-Pluto trine is going to be around a lot. You'll hear me and other astrologers talking a lot about Pluto and Uranus having their trine over the next few months. And by the time of this full moon, we have Mars, our planet of action and war and energy, in Scorpio, the planet it co-rules with Pluto, okay? And Mars is opposite Jupiter in Taurus. So how does this play out for the energy for this full moon? Because the full moon itself, if I just check the transits, doesn't really have, it's widely conjunct Jupiter. It's trining Juno. The Sun is conjunct Mercury. It's conjunct Mars. Mars is widely in opposition to the full moon. So we have this kind of energy around. But it's a full moon. It's about completion and endings. And it's going to be the last eclipse we get in Taurus. That's why it's a partial eclipse, because the node has actually, of course, moved into Aries. But because of the kind of ecliptic path, we get, with this changeover of the nodes, we get this kind of shifting energy that throws us back into another sign. So it becomes a partial solar eclipse or a partial lunar eclipse. And with this one, we have the partial lunar eclipse. Now, I want to get on to your individual signs and also to answer some of your questions. But the last thing I want to talk about before I finish the general energies for October is that on the 29th, Mercury, our planet of communication, will be conjunct Mars, our planet of action, energy, arguments, in Scorpio. Ooh, I'd be careful. Be careful what you say that day. Mark it down in your calendars, October 29th. Be careful. I will put some posts out to remind you of these dates. And as I said, I am cutting back on content, but I will hopefully do. I will be doing the full moon and the new moon, and I will hopefully do some shorts or maybe another live. But I really, as I said, have to put my health in a sort of prominent position for now. But let's have a look at your individual signs. And before I do that, let me just have a look at some of your comments. And let's see. So Geordie here is saying your moon is in Taurus and you're feeling the intense emotions coming. This Aries moon, yes, has also made me feel righteous and ready to speak out against the corruption. Yeah, this full moon in Aries, we're just still in the energy of is oh gosh, I don't know. The energy of this year, as I said, has been like, well, and take that, says the cosmos. Let's see what you're made of. It's almost like, and this is an interesting thought, it's almost like those of us or you that are drawn to these higher vibrations and energies are being pulled away, sometimes in quite a tough way, from those of us or those of you who just think, oh, I just want to live my life and get my money at the end of each month and have a nice meal and that's it. So I'm not being cruel here. I'm just saying that there is an element of society dividing on a spiritual level as well as on a kind of political level or energetic level. And I think we will see more of this over 2024. So Nicholas here is saying you were born at the 29th degree of Pluto in Virgo. What does it mean for you? Well, I think because this is a generational shift, Nicholas, what this gives you is it's like you're done with what Virgo means from a transformative way. You're done with that. You've paid attention over many lifetimes to those things that you need to pay attention to. And because the next sign after Virgo is Libra, it's about having a more harmonious outlook for the way forward, more balanced. So that is in general what I would like you to sort of kind of become aware with. And so someone here is saying Ebenon, you're having surgery on Thursday and you're listen, Thursday, I wouldn't worry about it, honestly, because if we go back to the transits of here and now, Mars will still be in Libra, so Mars won't have actually moved Mars doesn't go into Scorpio until the 12th. So I think you're fine. Don't worry about it. What do these shifts in Aquarius mean? Well, I'm going to talk about those more later in the year and when I do the overview for 2024. That's another reason I want to cut back a bit this month, because I really want to get the 2024 videos out. So how am I with my back? Thank you for asking. Well, I don't really want to go into all the details because it gets a little bit kind of boring for everybody hearing what's going on. Let's just say I had Saturn conjunct my moon 30 years ago in Pisces. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about astrology. when I had Saturn conjunct my moon, now Saturn is skeleton, spine, and structure. And the moon is a personal planet. So it's something you feel on a personal level. It was in Pisces. It was in my 8th house, ruled by Pluto and Mars, transformation. I had back surgery. What's happening again? Saturn in Pisces will be conjunct my moon in several months' time in Pisces. I have been doing my utmost to try and work with the cosmos so that it doesn't play out like that. And I can't give you a definitive answer on whether I'll have surgery or not. Hopefully not, but it's an option. But enough about that. I am addressing it. Thank you so much, all of you, for asking. And let's now just move on, because we need to get through what's happening in your individual signs. So I'm treating this a bit like when I do a full moon or a new moon. I've just seen this. It's Annabelle. It's all gone quiet regards to Donald Trump. Oh, thank you. You like my hair. Bless you. Listen, we have to be positive. How is it going to help any of us, including myself, if I get negative about it? I mean, I can tell you, I've not been happy that I've got to pull back on the channel a bit, but it is what it is, and I have to deal with it. And I have to trust, as I always tell all of you, the flow that the universe is taking me in. The universe knows better than me, and literally it has my back. And that's quite an interesting pun, because it does have my back, and my back needs to be looked after by the cosmos. So let's move on to your individual signs. And I don't know whether these will get time-stamped. I will talk to Jerry tomorrow, but I'll give him the little clues. So let's do this. So let's start with Aries. Aries, I'm just going to tell you where the new moon annular solar eclipse is. It's on the 14th in your 7th house of significant relationships. It's a new moon, new starts. Get out of your own way with one significant relationship. Now, the Mars in Scorpio square for you, Aries, is your 8th house, which is where Scorpio is, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn in your 10th house. So what this is about is, it feels as if it's about communication, difficult challenges around anything that's to do with pensions, wills, anything to do with work, setting up kind of life insurance, and feeling pretty frustrated by the whole nature of it. The full moon in Taurus is in your 2nd house of finance, Aries, and it's on the 28th, and it's a partial lunar eclipse. So this is about letting something go. Have you been overloading yourself, Aries, with little extra jobs? This full moon eclipse is saying, let something go. Okay, let's move on to Taurus. Taurus. So the new moon annular solar eclipse is in your 6th house of health and healing. Guess who's a Taurus? And it's on the 14th. And this is really saying, see it positively. That's the message I'm going to give myself. It's Libra. Get balanced kind of answers to my questions. Get second opinions, which actually I'm doing tomorrow. I'm getting a second opinion and a third opinion on Wednesday. I'm not going to overcrowd myself with different opinions, but it's always good to see the bigger picture. So Taurus, if you can use that in any way with regard to your health or your day-to-day routine, that is what this new moon solar eclipse is about. The Mars in Scorpio in your 7th house of significant relationships, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 9th. Watch out for arguments in close relationships, especially if this is about anything to do with your spirituality, your intuitive self, your kind of anything you're doing that you're learning, anything of that nature. Watch out. And it could also mean that it's disputes about where you go for your next holiday. So cool it, calm down, wait till the energy has just shifted a bit. The full moon, of course, is in your sign, Taurus, and it's on the 28th, and it's a partial lunar eclipse. Taurus, what do you need to let go of in how you look after yourself? Or what do you need? What might you be doing that is not actually helpful? Are you overloading your things and actually not kind of really firing on all cylinders? It's like, Taurus, don't spread yourself too thin. Right, let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini, for you, this annular solar eclipse on the 14th in Libra is in your 5th house of fun. I always use that quote, welcome to the house of fun, because it makes me laugh, and I gather it makes some of you laugh that remember madness. And my God, have we got a lot of madness around at the moment. So actually, this new moon is saying, get out there, Gemini. Reconnect with people you haven't seen for a while. Have some fun. Just do it, Gemini. Mars in Scorpio is in your 6th house, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn in your 8th. Now remember, Mars and Pluto actually rule the 8th house. And not only that, they are making a hard square. There is something here about a clash between your working routine, and it feels like it's where you want to make changes with your joint finances. So try and get that in order. And then the full moon for you, Gemini, of course, in Taurus, in your 12th house of the inner you. And remember, it's a partial lunar eclipse on the 28th of October, a time to do a little bit of inner reflection and to just absolutely kind of look at what you can let go of that really is not looking after you well. Look at your own self-worth a bit more, because I think that will help. Cancer, for you, the new moon in Libra is in your 4th house of home and family. And so, as you know, it's an annular solar eclipse on the 14th. And this new moon is about home and family. Who do you need to reconnect with in your wider family? This would be a great time to have some really good conversations with them. The Mars in Scorpio square for you is from your 5th house of fun to your 7th house of relationships, where Pluto is in Capricorn. So be super careful that you don't upset your other half if you have one, because you might be having too much fun or straying a little bit from the kind of commitment path. I think you'll get the message. And you just need to take a bit of care. And the full moon for you is in Taurus, of course, in your 11th house, hopes and wishes. And it's a partial lunar eclipse. You have to look, Cancer, at what you are wanting to manifest, that you need to let go of some of your other kind of projects to allow yourself to have the energy to focus just on the main event. Don't spread yourself too thin. Okay, let's move on to Leo. Leo, the new moon is in Libra, in your third house. And of course, this is an annular solar eclipse and it's on the 14th. This is about communication. Get in touch with people in your locality that you've kind of lost touch with, Leo. This is a really good time to reconnect with that closer circle because, you know, you've been so kind of caught up in stuff, Leo, that a lot of things have really gone by the by. And there may be some of your friends in the locality that are feeling a little bit neglected. So, Leo, you need to find some purry pussycat part of yourself and start doing a little bit of snuggling up to closer friends to communicate with. The Mars in Scorpio, 4th house to 6th house, Pluto in Capricorn. This really is saying something is happening at home that is getting in the way of your working routine. What is happening at home that you're getting so angry about? Can you step back, Leo, and see the bigger picture and acknowledge that sometimes the restrictions that we have are there for a reason? And if you're knocking on a door that won't open, it's because it's not your door, Leo. Right, let's move on to, so that's right, we've got the full moon in Taurus in your 10th house of career, Leo. 28th of October, partial lunar eclipse. You really are going to have to let go of some of your kind of avenues that you're working with so that you can put your energy into the parts of your working life and your career that need more attention. Which reminds me, and it's a good moment, and I will mention this at the end as well. Do you remember I kept talking about the fact that I have a introduction for beginners guide to looking at your astro chart? And it's got, I think, 4 little videos of me talking to you in it, as well as some information. It's finally available on my website, pennydix.com, and that is available. It's 19.99 euros. It's easy to pay via the website on a site that's called, or an app that's called Stripe, and it all gets taken care of. And then you get your astrological guide for beginners to looking at your natal chart. Now, also, while I'm talking about the website, remember, if you would like to book a session with me, even though I'm slowing down a bit, I'm not stopping taking bookings. I'm still taking bookings, and I couldn't not work with you. I love it so much. I'm just spreading you out a bit so I don't have too much packed into one day or 1 week. So please get in touch via my email, penny@pennydix.com, and we can sort something out. Now, let's move on to Virgo. There we go. So, the new moon for you in Libra in your 2nd house of finance. And as you know, it's an annular solar eclipse. Virgo, I think you've been working out or looking at your financial status and trying to make some sense of it. I think this solar eclipse will, because it's got a ring of fire, maybe you're looking at it too intently, or you're looking at how you make your money or what you need to do to make money. You're looking at it too intently. And this is suggesting that you take a step back and see the bigger picture. Now, the Mars in Scorpio for you, square Pluto, is from your third house of communication to Pluto, our planet of transformation, in Capricorn, in your house of fun, the fifth house. So this is about careful communication with friends in your local neighborhood. There could be a little bit of difficult or challenging or fractious energy around for those few days in the sort of second half of the beginning of, it's about the second week of October. So just be mindful of that. And the full moon for you, Virgo, in Taurus, in the 9th, on the 28th, and it's a partial lunar eclipse. And this full moon for you is about finally perhaps making a dream come true to do with a journey or something that broadens your education. I feel there is something you would like to introduce to your kind of package of knowledge and what you know. And so you're really working hard on ways to do that. And this lunar eclipse is taking the veil off. It's showing you the way. It's Taurus. It's showing you that what you know, what you've learned, does have value. And you must value and trust that. So let's move on to Libra. Libra, of course, this new moon annular solar eclipse is in your sign, in your first house, and it's on the 14th. So this is about you coming out from the shadows, Libra. You have had quite a challenging time, like the rest of the zodiac signs have, but it's been a little bit wobbly, and that balance that you like has been a little bit more difficult to keep that flow going and that sense of where you're going and that direction. This solar eclipse will overshadow some of the things that you're doing. But what it's doing is saying, don't look there, look here. Because, you know, sometimes we forget to see where the universe is pointing. And we're so busy looking down this path, we forget to look down this path. So that is what I want you to be aware of with this annular solar eclipse. The Mars in Scorpio squaring Pluto in Capricorn is your second house to your fourth house. So this is about the way you make your money. It's how you also how you see your value. And this is trying to put your point across to a family member and feeling so frustrated because you can't somehow get your message across. I think by the full moon in Taurus, which is in the 8th house, and that's on the 28th, which is a partial lunar eclipse, will help you. That will be your turning point, Libra. I'm sorry you've got to wait a bit longer, but that will be the turning point where you can just change the direction a bit and things will open up. Now we move on to Scorpio. Scorpio. And I think I talked about you in terms of one of the videos I did lately. Maybe it was the new moon, I can't remember, or the full moon. But it was about you being put in a matchbox, like a little scorpion trapped in a little matchbox, and how enraged that's making you feel. And that has been the kind of ongoing kind of energy you've been experiencing. You've thought, just get off my back, guys, or by God, am I going to sting you? Because people have just got too kind of close. And I think as a Scorpio, you just need to hold your ground. You just think of scorpions. They scuttle around the desert, but you don't often see more than one of them. They like to have a little bit of space. And for you, Scorpio, this new moon in Libra, in your 12th house, annular solar eclipse, is about you getting out of that matchbox. And guess what? You have the ability to open that matchbox yourself. Use that cunning tail of yours with the sting to just push on the back and push the front out, and out you pop. Mars in Scorpio, your sign, which you've got, of course, it rules your sign along with Pluto, squaring your other ruling sign, Pluto in Capricorn, in the third, is seeing quite a sharp tongue if people don't behave around you. This is just for a few days during that second week, leading up to that new moon. So just be mindful of that. And the full moon in Taurus is in your seventh house of significant relationships. It's on the 28th of October. It's a partial lunar eclipse. Who in your life doesn't value you? Because if they don't, I think it's time you went, off you go. I think enough is enough, Scorpio. Remember to start valuing yourself a little more. Now, let's move on to Sagittarius. The new moon for you, Sagittarius, is in Libra in your 11th house. It's an annular solar eclipse. It's on the 14th. This is actually about you starting to see where your projects and plans and ideas can take wings. But there may be a little bit of a delay around that just because the sun's light is hidden for a while longer with the moon's energy covering it. So don't despair, but you will begin to see the proverbial ring of fire showing you the light at the end of the tunnel for projects you want to get off the ground. Now, this Mars in Scorpio for you is in your 12th house. And this is about the inner you. And it's so much about, please don't give yourself such a hard time, Sagittarius. It's squaring Pluto in your second. And I really feel, Sagittarius, that you're going through a bit of a challenging time and getting the proverbial cat o' nine tails out and slaughtering yourself and slamming yourself on the back with this leather whip. Stop it, Sagittarius. It's not as bad as it seems. It will actually unfold in the fullness of time. You're another sign that needs to get back in the flow. You're a high vibrational sign. You can really tune in to these higher energies. Jupiter is your ruler. So tune into that Jupiter energy and really, really kind of go with that. So what did I do? Yeah. So the full moon for you is, I'm losing my place, in Taurus in the 6th house, 28th. So this full moon is really for you about what you need to dispose of in your daily routine so that you have more time for you and the projects that fire you up, not other people's stuff, your stuff, Sagittarius. Capricorn, new moon in Libra in your 10th house of career. It's an annular solar eclipse on the 14th. This is saying you may have been waiting to start something new. Be a little bit patient. Keep in touch with that kind of sort of meditative ting, ting, ting balance and meditation. And don't freak out if what you want to happen with regard to your work or your career is not yet kind of taking off, is not revving up. It will, but be patient. Remember, if there are delays, it's because the universe has something better planned for you. If you're looking for a job, don't grab the first thing, because the universe will be going, oh, and we were trying to steer Capricorn towards this job, which would have been wonderful. So be aware of that. Now, the Mars in Scorpio is in your 11th house of hopes and wishes. It's squaring Pluto, of course, which you've got in your sign. But remember, Pluto is going direct finally in Capricorn. This is going to free up a lot of your energy. All these slow down breaks that you feel have been where you've had to go through things with a kind of microscopic detail is going to come to an end. And so this Mars in Scorpio squaring Pluto is actually assertion, not anger. It's you going, I can launch my personal plans. I can get all of this off the ground. And by God, I will. And the full moon for you is in the house of fun, Taurus, the 5th house. It's on the 28th of October. Remember, it's a partial lunar eclipse. And this really, I think, is just saying, you know what, Capricorn? Do have some fun. It's an eclipse. Just, there may be some friends that drop away from you. That could be one manifestation of this energy. But if they do drop away, it's because they're not meant to be on your path any longer. So trust that the cosmos knows better than you. And that's really what we can say for Capricorn. Then we move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, the new moon for you is in your 9th house. In Libra, it's an annular solar eclipse. It's on the 14th. This new moon is basically asking you to open up to those higher levels of vibration. For God's sake, Aquarius, start channeling, start automatic writing, invite these energies in. They are desperate for souls like you to promote their teachings through. So open up to it. Everything isn't about what's going on in the mundane earth, fire, air, and water kind of energies. There is spirit. There are these energies. Open up to them. The Mars in Scorpios in your house of career, the 10th, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 12th. This is you having some crisis about the direction you're going in work. Don't worry about it because remember, Pluto is going direct. So with Pluto's direct motion in your 12th house, it's like the mists will clear and you'll see the way through. Now, the full moon in Taurus for you is in your 4th house of home and family. It can also be ancestors. Remember, it's the 28th of October and it's a partial lunar eclipse. So with regard to your home and family, this may be looking at what you've overlooked. What have you overlooked with regard to your family? Is there some kind of way that you need to reconnect and recommunicate with a certain person? It's funny, I can just hear my cat, who is now getting very, very fed up with me, one of my 4, because I'm in here delivering this live and I heard a loud meow and I've already fed them. I gave them their supper. So, you know, they've got no excuse, but so, yes, so let's move on to Pisces. Pisces, my oceans of emotions. I always have to say that. This new moon annular solar eclipse on the 14th in Libra in your 8th house of transformation, other people's money, joint finance, It can be beginnings, endings, birth, death, but it's a new moon. Who's pregnant? That's just come into me. You may hear about somebody who's pregnant. You may be quite happy about that. But it's just, that's something I'm just picking up in the energy. And it may also be giving birth to something that needs time to nurture. So that's another kind of way we can interpret this new moon annular solar eclipse energy. Now, Mars in Scorpio is in the 9th, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 11th. The 9th is the house of higher energies, it's the house of higher education, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn in the 11th. That's your house of hopes and wishes. This tells me you need to get a move on. There is a lot that you need to get done, a lot that you need to, a lot of strings you need to add to your bow. It's like your bow has become unstrung. Your guitar or your violin or whatever we see as a musical instrument needs restringing. Restring it, because life is going to speed up very quickly, Pisces. The full moon for you in Taurus is in your 3rd house of communication. Remember, it's a partial lunar eclipse. Be careful what you say to others around the 28th of October, around the end of this month, because you might put your fins in it, so to speak. So, and somebody might remove the oxygen from your goldfish bowl. So I don't know, I do have an extraordinary mind sometimes. So thank you, meow, to your little kitties. So listen, thank you, all of you, for coming to my live stream that is, gosh, I've overrun by 11 minutes. I've tried to keep it to an hour. It was impossible. How do you shut me up? But I'm making up for the fact I haven't done the individual zodiac signs. So I hope this has helped. I will actually see if I can get Jerry to timestamp them so that I can put that out and people know they can get something to do with their zodiac signs. So any more questions before I bring this to a conclusion? Let me have a look. So blessings and healing energies. Bless you. Thank you so much, Steve. You're very welcome. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and all those wonderful things that you do. And do share, because sharing so that other people get to see it helps with the algorithms. Because, of course, as I'm not going to be putting out so much content, I'll drop in the algorithms. It's just the nature of the YouTube beast. But there you go. What can I do? But the other thing I wanted to say is also I'm shortly going to be doing a podcast with Julie Poole. And she is a wonderful hypnotherapist, energy healer, and channeler. And she channels a non-physical entity called Eli. And when that podcast comes out, I will share it and announce it, but it's going to come out very soon. So that's going to be super interesting for us to have this dialogue together. So on that note, thank you so much for coming to see me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I will be doing a pre-recorded full moon, and who knows what I may come up with in the meantime. It depends a lot on my stamina. But in the meantime, Julie Poole, somebody's heard of her. She's lovely, actually, and she's got a very big following, and she's a super nice person. So please check her out. I would put her link in the description box, but I don't know that I know how to, but I could get Jerry to. So yes, Jem, thank you. I will look after me, and that's why I'm going to be cutting back a bit. So I'm going to go and have a relaxing drink of my lemon and lime sparkling water. I'm absolutely off anything toxic. I'm looking after myself, and I will be back very soon. Thank you so much for being here. And here's we get the inane grin, and here we go. End. Bye bye.